from Bielsa's bucket to Dini drama. The second tier has given us a lot of dramatic moments down the years, but who would make the Championship's greatest 11? That's the task we have handed to our EFL editor, Simeon Golam. So, Sim, here's the criteria. For a player to play in this team, they'd had to be named in the Championship PFA Team of the Year at least once. So, let's get the permutations out of the way and let's start with the goalkeeper. Who have you gone for in net?
I've started with a player very famous for playing in the Premier League as well, but he had some great years in the Championship and was one of the best we've ever seen in goal. It's Kasper Schmeichel, of course, promoted with Leicester City in 2014, I believe it was, and we all know what he went to do from there, went on to become one of the best Premier League goalkeepers as well. But in terms of the Championship, he was just a fantastic stopper, obviously very much developed beyond what we expected of him. Obviously, he had the name Schmeichel, which kind of put a lot of pressure and a lot of weight on his shoulders, I suppose. But then once he'd gone on to Leeds and then Leicester in the Championship, he did really develop into one of the best goalkeepers we've ever seen at that level.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget his time at Notts County as well. That goes under the radar. Right, into the defence now. Now, both of your fullbacks, Sim, have actually gone on to play in Champions League finals.
Right back, I've gone for Kieran Trippier, of course, of Burnley fame before he moved on to Tottenham and then Atletico Madrid. Then Newcastle, he was a brilliant up-and-down fullback in the Championship back in the day, showed all the talent that he went on to show. Of course, he's gone on to win plenty of England caps, captain England. He's gone on to win a La Liga title. He's done it all, really. At left back, I've gone for a player you might have heard of called Gareth Bale.
Oh, yeah, him.
Obviously, was a left back at the start of his career, broke through at Southampton. He was brilliant there before he got picked up by Tottenham. Of course, 5 Champions Leagues, everything. He's done everything in the game, and he started very much in the Championship.
Moving on into the centre of defence, 2 players who won the Championship.
Fabrizio Colaccini of Newcastle, 2009-10. He was the stalwart of their central defensive partnership that took them to promotion. And next to him, Ben White, of course, a right back for Arsenal now, but way back when in 2019-20, a very long time ago, he was playing as a centre-back for Leeds United on loan from Brighton, and he was exceptional at that level as they got promoted as well. So yeah, that's my partnership. We've got everything there. We've got Colaccini, we've got the steel, and we've got the grace of Ben White. It would suit each other perfectly at that list. This or any level, really, I suppose.
Yeah, and you've got some very attacking fullbacks as well, so those centre-backs have to do a lot of work. Right, midfield. Now, the first of your 3 midfielders, doing a 4-3-3 here, by the way. The first of the 3 midfielders actually doesn't meet your criteria, but I guess you have to pick Jude Bellingham, don't you?
Yeah, I had to cheat on this one. I mean, he started in the Championship. He wasn't named in the Team of the Season in 1920 when he was with Birmingham City, but I mean, we saw the potential he had. He's obviously gone on to win the Champions League, and he might well become the first player to play in the Championship to go on to win the Ballon d'Or. So for that reason, I just had to include him too. I mean, he could go on to do absolutely anything, and he's already done so much. So yeah, he had to be in there, despite cheekily, shall we say, ignoring the criteria for that one name. He's the only one, the one aberration on this list from those specifications I was given.
Yeah, and then the other 2 in midfield?
Ruben Neves, of course, won promotion with Wolves in 2017-18. He'd already captained Porto in the Champions League before he joined Wolves in the Championship, which does raise questions of what he was doing in the Championship with Wolves in the first place. I mean, that's a conversation for another day, really. But yeah, I mean, he was... It was a level he never really should have been playing at. He was one of the silkiest, classiest midfielders you can imagine to see at that level. He also scored probably the best goal I've seen in the Championship. I mean, certainly one of them, which is a very, very memorable goal against Derby County. And he's just so good. He was so good in the Premier League as well when he went on with them at Wolves. But in the Championship, it was just like he was like it was like he'd been dropped off by a spaceship at that level when he played there. It was just ridiculous, really.
And then to complete the midfield 3, an England international.
Jack Grealish, of course. A winger now in the Premier League, but when he got promoted to Aston Villa, he was very much the attacking member of a midfield 3, really, kind of the attacking prong on one of the sides. He was the main reason Aston Villa got promoted when they did in 2019. In 2018, he played against Fulham in the playoff final, and he's the only player in 24 playoff finals I've covered that I've given player of the match to, despite the fact he was on the losing side, because he was so good in that game. Even though they lost 1-0, literally, he was a special player then, and it was a privilege to watch him play in the Championship.
Absolutely. Now, moving on to the front 3, and I think a lot of people watching this will categorise these 2 players in the streets will never forget category. Who have you gone with in the wide areas?
Our two wide men, we'll start with Wilfried Zaha, of course. Such a long storied career in the Premier League, Crystal Palace, but brilliant when he was back in the Championship with them. One of the winger who he could just tear anyone to pieces at that level. He virtually hauled them through a promotion campaign in the playoffs on his own in many ways when he took them up in 2013. Just so good at that level. And on the other side, Adel Taarabt, that one season at QPR 2010-11 when they won the title under Neil Warnock was arguably the best individual season we'll see in Championship history, maybe ever. I mean, the man we're going to talk about after him potentially has a case for that as well. But Adel Taarabt, that season when he got 19 goals and 21 assists was just it was. I mean, it was beyond even numbers. It was just the overall play, the way he just did everything was just incredible. He was an unbelievable player to watch.
Yeah, it's incredible how just one season can spark an entire legacy, and that's certainly the case with Taarabt. And you can say one Championship season defines this person's legacy in the EFL as well. The centre forward is
Alexander Mitrovic. Of course, played more than one season in the Championship, did very well, but it was that one season, 21-22, that's really nailed his place down in this team when he scored 43 Championship goals, which is just, I mean, it's mind-blowing. The season before, Ivan Toney had broken the record for the Championship top scorer of 31 goals. The season after, Mitrovic had sort of moved past that by about February. It was an absurd individual season where he just absolutely just destroyed every defence he played against. It was absolutely sensational. And it's between Mitrovic and Taarabt, I think, for that's the argument between who's had the greatest individual season, and I can't call it, to be honest. I'd imagine them both playing on the same team together at the same time in the Championship. It would have been absolutely ridiculous to watch.
And finally, Sim, who is the manager that brings this team together and leads them to Championship glory?
I mean, if we're talking about incredible individual seasons, there's only one man, and that's Steve Coppell, the man who took Reading to promotion in 2005-06 with a total of points that is yet to be beaten. 106 they got that season, and we've seen teams, brilliant teams since then, get nowhere near that total. And the more seasons go through, the more impressive it looked that they managed that. So it has to be the man who's got the record in the Championship.
Well, there you go. That's our 11. And a reminder that every single Championship, League One and League Two fixture from the opening weekend of the new season will be live on Sky Sports via the new Sky Sports Plus programme.